Okay, I'm trying to go fast before the sun sets. I'm in my bedroom with the door shut because the twins are asleep. And hi, happy August. I'm getting a little bit more back into my reading groove. I actually had my first 5-star read in 15 months. I haven't had a 5-star read since April of 2024. The time has finally come. I got my 5-star back and I'm so excited to find some more. We're going to go through what I read before I got that book. I'm going to talk about my 5-star read, and then we will talk about what I'm currently reading and what I plan on reading next. So in July, I believe I finished 3 books. 2 of them were out of the 4 I picked for my TBR. The first book I read in July was Metal Slinger. I think I chose this one because I thought it was going to be a 5-star. I ended up rating this book 3 stars. I really liked it. This story starts off with a character named Bryn. She travels to the market in Alaha. I'm not quite sure how to say that. Kenta is where she's from, and they get to go once a year, I believe. And then she goes there, and some things happen. She meets some people, ends up changing everything else. So that's kind of just what I'll tell you about the book. I was expecting more pirate vibes, which I got a little bit. But of course, I wish there was more piratey vibes in it. In the beginning of this book, I felt like a lot of the reveals were happening very quickly. And I didn't understand why we were getting all this information so quickly. And I know from other readers that there's like huge plot twists in the book. So I was confused, like, how is there going to be a huge plot twist if we're getting all this information? I was wrong. There was a huge plot twist at the end-ish of this book. Probably one of the best plot twists I've ever read. So highly recommend reading this if you do enjoy plot twists. I would say the beginning was very fast-paced. I was getting a lot of information, meeting a lot of characters. And then it kind of slowed down a little bit, and that's when I got a little bit bored. However, around like page 150, it started picking up again, and I got way more interested, and a lot of things started happening again. And then the book finished, and now I want to read book 2. I settled with a 3-star. I didn't love the book. I really liked it, and I'm excited for book 2. I'll definitely read book 2. It's just not going to go down as one of my favorite romanticities, which is okay. It was a good start to the month. Next, I finished the Audible for Fearless, which is the 3rd and final book of the Powerless trilogy by Lauren Roberts. Okay, let's talk about this. I believe I rated Powerless, the first book, 4 stars. Then I read Powerful, and I think I gave that 1 or 2 stars. Then Reckless, I think I gave that 2 stars. So I didn't think I was going to love the 3rd book. Powerful is a novella, by the way. I didn't think I was going to love the 3rd book. However, I wanted to finish the trilogy because I did really like book 1. I didn't think I was going to love the writing, but I just kind of wanted to know how the story was going to wrap up, which ended up being how I felt about it. Like I said, I gave Fearless 2 stars. The writing's just so cheesy in these books, which is okay. The characters are fun. I like the characters. I don't really love what they ended up doing with one of the characters. The ending was okay to me. I do recommend reading it if you read the other books in the trilogy and the novella. It was a little too cheesy for me. And I enjoy YA, so I don't know how I feel about it. I'm happy I finished the series, and it's another series marked off my list. The next book I read was Scythe and Sparrow by Bryn Weaver. So, I've had this book for a while. I've been putting it off because I didn't really think I was in the mood for it. I really liked Butcher and Blackbird, which is book 1. Then book 2, Leather and Lark. I thought I was going to be obsessed with that one because I really liked those characters. And I ended up thinking it was okay. I think I still rated it a 4 because I just enjoyed the story. It might have been a 3 or a 4. And then I was like, okay, I'm not really interested in The Last Brother, which is Fionn, which this book is about. Fionn is a doctor, and he ends up colliding worlds with Rose, who's a circus performer, and she ends up getting injured and having to kind of stay in the town that he lives in. So that's kind of how they intertwine stories. Again, I was like, I think it'll be okay. I loved it. I read it so fast. I rated it 4 stars. Honestly, it might be my favorite of the entire trilogy, which is crazy. I think I might like it more than Butcher and Blackbird, or it's like they're very even. I really liked it. It was a great palate cleanser of having different genre besides romantasy. Highly recommend. It's getting us into the spooky vibes a little bit. I highly recommend reading this last one. I loved it. I loved the characters. I loved the story. I loved the pacing. The writing was great. I laughed. A+. And then we get to my 5-star read. Ta-da! The Glittering Edge by Alyssa Villaire. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce her last name, so sorry. This book caught me by surprise. Emmy Reeds talked about it from her Fairy Loot edition, and I was like, that sounds like a fun, easy read. It's a romantasy, it's YA. It kind of will get me started in the spooky season. It's about witches. I love witches. I love stories about witches. Any sort of witch, from like Halloween Town to Manon in Throne of Glass. So I was excited about it. I got it from the library. I devoured this book. I read it so fast. The pacing was so great. I need every book to be paced like this. I just, things kept happening, new information kept happening, conversations kept happening. I never got frustrated with the character. Like, just get to the point. Storyline kept me hooked. I love the characters. This story is about Penny, who lives in this town, a small town in Indiana, which, fun fact, I also live in Indiana. I grew up in Indiana, and now I live in Indianapolis, Indiana. Penny lives in Idlewood, Indiana, and there's 2 families who kind of hate each other in this town. Generations of these families have lived here. It's the DeLucas and the Berriens, and the DeLucas are known to be witches, and the Berriens hate the DeLucas. And you don't really know the real reason why. You quickly find out, and then this unlikely trio has to get together. Alonzo DeLuca and Corey Berrien and Penny. They have to get together, and I love their friendship. I love their story. I feel for some of the characters during the story. I'm excited for book 2, which should be coming out, I think, next summer, which it's going to take forever to get here. It was just a great YA read. Highly, highly, highly recommend. Currently reading Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. This is my first Grady Hendrix books. He's written a lot, and I have been wanting to read a lot of them. They've been on my TBR for a while. I just never picked one up yet. And I finally decided this is going to be the one, just because I saw some reviews and people were saying, you know, it's giving feminine rage, which is like one of my favorite type of stories to read. And of course, there's some witchcraft in it. Like I said earlier, I love witches. Everything about witches I will read. I am on page 112, and I really, really like it. I am going to keep reading it. I've been reading it pretty fast. This is day 2 of reading it. I'm excited to see where the story goes. It kind of just started getting to the point where I think the rest of the story is going to end up going. We got a lot of background information, but it was very interesting. It kind of got me hooked right away. I love the first page of this book. It's kind of long, so I'm just going to read a couple paragraphs because I feel like this page will just get you hooked into reading it. I don't want to say I'm going to love the book. I have no idea. I'm only a little over 100 pages in. I might end up hating it. I don't know. I might love it. It might be okay. Whatever. But I do think this first page might get you interested. I'm just going to read a couple of the paragraphs. You see, we've been taught that the devil was the worst thing in the world, but we were too young to understand that there were worse things than the devil. We were too young to understand that their job was to convince us that the most natural thing in the world was evil, and the most evil thing in the world was natural. We were girls. That's what they called us in their articles, in their speeches, and their files. Bad girls, neurotic girls, needy girls, wayward girls, selfish girls, girls with electric complexes, girls trying to fill a void, girls who need attention, girls with pasts, girls from broken homes, girls who needed discipline, girls desperate to fit in, girls in trouble, girls who couldn't say no. But for girls like us, down there at the home, the devil turned out to be our only friend. That's all I'm going to say. I hope I like the rest of this book like I've liked the beginning of this book. I'll keep you updated. And then my next book that I plan on picking up once I finish Witchcraft for Wayward Girls is Thrown in the Dark. This is supposed to be kind of a cozy romantasy. I read a little bit of it, and then I decided to put it down, and because I got my library books in. I am going to continue it once I finish the book I'm currently reading. It was a lot of world building and info dumping in the beginning of this book. I still enjoyed it though, so I'm going to continue to try to read it. I think I am going to really like it. Again, it should just be cozy vibes. I think it's kind of enemies to lovers, grumpy sunshine, magic. I'll give it a go, and I'll give you guys an update if I do end up continuing it, and if it is as just fun, easygoing as I think it should be. But if anyone's read this, let me know, and let me know if I should dive into it next. Alright, those are my reading updates. Hopefully I'll have another video soon and not go like a whole month without making another video. I've just been really busy, and I'm trying to read as much as possible, but I'm going to make this a priority because I love yapping about books and I want to make some book friends. Enjoy the rest of your night or your day, get cozy, and have fun.